Hi, friends. Host Eric here. Talking with famous people and bringer of the good news. The good news is tonight we're gonna type Pepsi. He says he's an ENTP, maybe, and we need to find out for sure, or if not, let's find out right now after these exciting messages. Welcome back. I'm here with Jordan. Jordan, you and I tonight, along with Sun, Nas, and assorted others in the room that are unnamed because I don't have the attendance list in front of me, except I remember Kit Kats is here, are going to type Pepsi by questioning him and hearing his answers. Pepsi, do you love playing with dogs?
No.
Do you hate playing with dogs?
I don't I don't hate playing with dogs, but I don't care to play with them.
Would you rather play with dogs or dolls?
Dogs.
Would you rather look at a meme, the Doge meme, or
Mhm.
or a meme of involving professional wrestling?
Professional wrestling.
If you were a professional wrestler, would you be more likely to use a suplex or a spinning flying back kick?
Spinning flying back kick.
You broke your ankle. Now what are you gonna do?
Yeah. I broke my ankle.
You broke your ankle in his job, but you're both still standing.
Um I'd probably
He punches you in the
I'd probably
face.
just
You fall down. He's about to jump on you. What do you do?
I would probably be in anger and attack him.
You don't tell me how, so he jumps on you and pounds you in the face. You're about to be knocked out. And who knows if me to kill you. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna escape.
You've got such terrible SE. That is, those are not things you do. Those are outcomes you decide. I win, of course. That's not doing something. That's declaring yourself having done it. Okay, so if you are faced with a quandary, you're at the park, you're at the naturally occurring beaver dam that is at the stream of the park. There's a family of ducks. One of the baby ducks is trapped away from the rest of the family. It's trapped on a small island, and
Mhm.
circling just outside the reach of the duck are a pack of wild, hungry wolves. The mother duck waddles over to you and says, "Quack, quack, will you please help save my baby duck?" And you, meanwhile, are supposed to be at a job interview in just 10 minutes, and you've got about a 9-minute walk ahead of you. Now, this job interview is
Mhm.
for $1,000 for working 5 minutes as a hand model.
Mhm.
What do you do?
The thing is, I would just since it's like in 9 minutes, I'd just be like, I would
Please, I'm a talking duck, for love of God, save my baby.
like, I'd be like, you know what, that's sad, but I have to go to this job interview. Now
But
just leave.
quack, quack.
I don't
Look,
even
they're gonna
care.
eat him, quack.
I wouldn't care. I just want to go to my job interview. I mean, that it's sad, but whatever.
Okay, children, let's go watch your baby brother die now.
What if there were witnesses to see that you made that decision?
Okay, yes, good point, Jordan. What
I
happens is
don't.
this. Let me clarify. Right as you're about to ditch the ducks, a hot jogger comes around and goes, "Oh, duckies!" And the duck waddles up to her and says, "Quack, quack!" And she's like, she looks to you though. She doesn't look to them. She's like, "What's going on?" Now what do you do? Her heaving bosom,
Uh,
her heaving bosom, as she
to be
breathes hard from
honest,
the jogging. What should we do? Like that. Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I would say what happened, and
Well, you're gonna
then
save the little duck, aren't you? Says the heaving bosom jogger, who sounds the same as the mother duck.
I'm gonna be honest. I'd actually still go to the job interview.
You're still going to the job interview. You're already going to be late now. You're already
Yeah.
going to be late. And in fact, the guy called you and said, "You know what? You're late already. Never mind. Now you don't have the job interview to go to anymore. What are you going to do?" The wolves
I'm
are so close to eating that baby duck, and you can hear it squealing from the island. "Please, sir, please, please save me."
I I would so the guy from the job interview, I can't go to that interview anymore, and that duck is almost about to die. I would I just leave that whole situation. I just leave.
You are one callous son of a bitch. Wow. You have to be the least sympathetic person in history. You got a baby duck screaming to you for your help. You got a mother begging you to save
I
her,
just try
her
to find
poor
someone
naked
else. I
child.
just try to find someone else. Like, oh,
What
someone else
about
can
the
take
hot
care of this for
dogger?
me.
Please, save the duck, she says. You'll be my hero. And she comes up and goes like this on you or whatever. How about now? Are you going to save the duck out of self-interest? The wolves look at you and you realize they have no teeth. But they have enough gum to chew up the duck, but they won't be able to hurt you. Now, do you still walk away from the situation?
Yeah, I would.
Why?
Why? Because by that time I was trying to go to the interview, and then my interview's canceled, and then I'll just be, I don't know, I just
Okay.
go home. I mean,
All right, you start
I
going
don't see
home.
the point.
Suddenly the skies cloud over. There's a big lightning bolt, and there's a god standing in front of you. He's fucking 17 feet tall. He's got a long white beard. He's got a big wooden staff, and he smacks you on the shoulder with it and says, "Pepsi Maximus, your callous disregard for that duck has offended me. Go, save the duck." It's God now. Are you going to
Probably
just? Are you
save
still
it.
going home, Pepsi? Are you still going home?
No, I'd probably say the duck.
How? I'm trying to get you to tell me how
How?
you saved the little duck, and you won't save it.
Okay, this is what I would do. At the park, I try finding someone that would be willing to save it. If there's nobody,
Okay, thank you.
then
Okay, okay, what would you do?
if I, then I would, I don't know, I don't know, I'll just go save it. This isn't a pond, I would just go out there and just save it. I don't know. I'll get wet and everything.
You are so distant from sensing.
Hmm.
Anybody else have any questions they want to ask? I can ask more if not, but anybody else want to get in here?
So, Pepsi, you have a habit of, I'm not judging it, but you have a habit of beginning your sentence with "to be honest." So, are we to assume that when you don't say "to be honest" beforehand, that you're not giving an honest answer?
No, I don't know, it's just a habit.
Okay.
He's. It's good he pointed it out, though. I didn't notice it, which is surprising. You should be aware of those kind of things. It's a good idea. Just in a general rule, I think. I don't know. Whatever. All right, let me ask you about feeling stuff. How does it feel to be told that you have a verbal habit that you're being criticized for?
I I never really picked up on it at first. And I was like, oh, I do kind of do that. Huh. And that's it.
Not a lot of strong feelings associated with
No,
this social event.
no, not really.
Do you generally feel strong feelings for some social events, or just generally not feel strong feelings for social events?
Not really any strong feelings.
If a guinea pig came up to you and was your friend, and you hung out with it every day, and it was not only a friend, it was your useful friend. It would bring you gum. Anytime you were like, anytime you suddenly had a hankering to chew gum, he'd appear. I got some Hubba Bubba. Want a piece? Every time. And then he'd hang out as long as he wanted to chat with you, and he'd just go away. And then next time you wanted gum, he'd appear. Good friend. Bob likes your friend. Wants to exploit the fact that he's got the ability to speak. Wants to give you $1,000 for this guinea pig. You take the $1,000 and give him the guinea pig? Hey Pepsi, here's your gum. You're a good friend, buddy. I like you.
Like how close I am with the guinea pig.
I don't know. You tell me, buddy. I mean, I've been sharing my gum with you for a long time. You and me, we share a passion for gum. We share a passion for conversation. I like asparagus, you not so much.
I would, if he was just someone that kind of popped up here and there, and he gave me gum, I talked to him, I'd probably just take the $1,000.
Hey, Pepsi, what you talking to that old guy on the internet about there? What you talking to him about? Something about me? You ain't talking about me, are you? His name's Gerald, by the way.
Gerald.
You're talking about old Gerald, are you? What you talking about? Who's that guy? Why is he giving you money, Pepsi? What are you doing, Pepsi? I thought you were my friend. Like that. Do you feel bad?
I kind of feel bad for him, but I was like, well, I got $1,000, and you're just some guinea pig. It's nice to me.
Okay.
Pepsi.
What?
So, are there any questions that you can think of that would be off limit being asked by strangers or by people that you really don't know very well?
Wait, hold on. You're kind of breaking up. Can you repeat that?
Are there any questions that would be that you would consider off limits to people who don't know you very well? Like someone approaches you in the grocery store, asks you a question. Is there any type of question where you're like, I'm not gonna answer that truthfully, or you're like, no, I'm not gonna answer that?
It would have to be something that was like, this doesn't like ever happen, but it would have to be something very, very like personal to the point, like where you live or whatever. Like, what's your address? It would have to be something like that.
Well, how about this? You're at the library. The librarian's there, and she has one of those color sheets for tan. Like you might get paint swatches. And she says, which of these shades of beige is closest to your scrotum? Would that be a question you'd be willing to answer? Or is that too personal?
I would laugh and probably just give her the actual answer.
I think it's probably this kind of pinkish gray one here. Okay, good to know. I'll tell the librarian that in my hometown in case you stop by. I don't think he's FI. I don't think you're FI, Pepsi. I think it's fair to say we can kind of eliminate FI, and we can kind of eliminate first and second slot FE, I think, based on your callous disregard for others. Nas, would you agree with that assessment? Okay, good. So, given that, you're looking at FE third or FE fourth. Now, somebody in the Chizat said, I in tizzy pizzy. But I don't see it because his SI is not good enough. If his SI were stronger, he would manage his displays in more distinct chunks so that the existence of Pepsi and the arrival of Pepsi would be like, hey, I'm Pepsi. I come on camera periodically. I say a few super cool things. And then I disappear for a while and let that sink in. And and build up in my own mind these narratives associated with how I put this piece in place and put that piece in place. And the narratives may or may not be accurate. I'm not saying they're not necessarily inaccurate, but it's like what Zachary did, right? Zachary made a very finite amount of videos because he wanted each one to pack a wallop and have impact in his SI framework. But I don't get SI well enough to understand that that's what you're supposed to do. You know? But so I just am like, well, if some's good, more's better. And you know,
I think his fighting techniques rule out first and second position SE.
Yeah, yeah. You don't know what it means to describe an action, let alone to do one. But what would you do? Well, I'd accomplish the goal by making more meaning that's distant from the goal. Oh, thanks, Pepsi. That's very specific, very concrete of you. Yeah, I'd explore the way that it impacts the milieu in which we live, and then I'd reflect back upon how identity is a construct of that milieu, and then I'd sort of triangulate back to understanding how the sensation has an impact on people around me, and then that's how I'd feel it. But okay, well, yeah, that's why you dropped the ball when I threw it to you, Pepsi. Is that explanation there? Remember when we were playing catch and I tried to throw you the ball and you're like, and it hit you in the hand and it fell on the ground? That's why. Because you were trying to explain the experience of catching to yourself. You're like, I will experience catching by understanding what it means to catch things.
Pepsi, has anyone ever tried to get you in a physical fight before? Like, tried to get you to fight?
I've had not physical, but I've had people come to me and like try to like cuss me out and stuff. And
How did you react?
I never get really aggressive. Like I remember this one kid. I remember a long time ago. He was like trying to cuss me out in public over something I said on Facebook. I forgot what it was. It was something really like mundane, and I was laughing at him the whole time. I was making fun of him. That's what I was doing.
I don't mean to be looking intimidating. That's my listening. It's my listening face.
So Eric, you think you can really rule out third or fourth position FI?
Yeah.
Because I'm not seeing any FE at all.
I mean, I'm not actually looking for FE. I was looking for FI and found none of it, and so I'm going with FE because FE really is more notable in the absence of FI. FI people empathize in a way that is identity based. Like for example, if you were to tell me about somebody being subject to a horrible TI, a travesty of TI, that the wrong decision was made because people didn't understand the logic of something and it was important and caused harm to them, I'd be shocked and appalled. Not at the harms that were done to them, but at the injustice of the harms. In other words, the failure of the system to apply consistency as its defining characteristic to attain justice rather than non-harmful outcomes. That's not my goal. So somebody else, a feeler, will be appalled by the harms done if you describe the harms done, regardless of whether you actually describe the fact that it's just. So feelers, it doesn't matter how TI consistent it is. If people are actually hurting, that's what actually matters. For TI people, if people are actually hurting, that's not relevant. What matters is whether or not they're hurting for the right reasons. If you fucked with me, then you should be hurting, basically. Like, you know, but if you didn't, if you're innocent, then if you are being hurt, then your hurter needs to be hurting. You know, that's why people who are FI people need to have protectors. Like, they're defenseless. How could you have defenses if you had to walk around with your feelings exposed all the time? If you walked around experiencing life through your feelings, you would be it would be a bruising experience, no doubt, even in the best of circumstances. And what you'd need more than anything else would be somebody to protect you. That's why ENTPs have this instinctual urge and cannot help themselves but run to protect ISFPs, and I think INFPs as well, but to a lesser extent.
So that would imply, because ENTJ has FI in the fourth slot, so that would assume that you think they need protection as well.
Who?
Because they're not FE. Because they're not FE, they're FI. ENTJ.
No. It's FI DOMs.
Oh, that's okay. You're only referring to FI DOMs. Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to see how you ruled out third or fourth slot FI.
Because it would still display differently. In that instance, he would say he wouldn't put that kind of callous disregard. I don't think it would be more like, well, okay, actually, Jordan, you're right. It could be, in theory, you're right. It could be fourth slot FI. It could be that. But if it were fourth slot FI, I think he'd be presenting much more serious and businesslike in general.
I agree.
So, my take is he's an ENTP because I see FE, I see SI, and I see them not high up compared to whatever's above them, which automatically just says, okay, well, then he's an ENTP. That's all you really need to know. SI, FE, and that he's extroverted in my position, and you got him being, at that point, an ENTP or an ESFJ. He's obviously not an ESFJ. Are you an ESFJ, Pepsi?
Nope.
Are you super attentive to your schedule and organized and stuff like that? No, you're not an ESFJ. You're not an ISFJ.
But it's not so much that he screams ENTP, it's more process of elimination, he's an ENTP.
Yeah, which is why people say I type too quickly, but you don't need to know more than the things you need to know to eliminate all the other possibilities and come to the conclusion. And so, to me, it's a deductive process. It's not a percentages process. Like a lot of the tests that give you percentages, I like the percentages because I like to be able to note that, according to my answer to that test, but I try to answer as honestly as possible, I must be super extroverted. And I like that percentage in that regard. That shows not just that I'm extroverted, but that I'm weighted heavily in that regard. Because you don't ever even know. You don't know until you start to really get into self-development and stuff that, this is something that's a scorecard here that's happening that I could be checking on and it could be evaluating myself on. I'm different from others, and others will react to me in accordance to the degree of those differences. So I need to understand what the degree of those differences is. And if I'm displaying as way more extroverted and I'm experiencing some negative stuff about that, I know I need to pare that back. It's an area where I may be guilty of excess. Those are all useful pieces of information for me.
So if he is an ENTP, that means he's got to be either a really heavy TI or a really heavy SI subtype, right?
Well, take that test that gives you the percentages of the type you are, the type you're attracted to, and
I've taken that.
What did you get?
The type I am, I got ENTP. The type I want, the preferred type was ENTP. Then my attraction type was INFP.
I got ENTP, ISFJ. I think I'm pretty fucking textbook. I think I'm like the mean, or whatever, the baseline style of ENTP. because I seem to match up with a lot of the more. See, I mean, the descriptions tend to focus more, I think, on the extroverted aspects of ENTPs, the ones that are more
Mhm.
easy to see, and I tend to manifest more of the easy to see ones, and so I think it's very unlikely I'll ever doubt my type or have any tests doubt my type or anything because fucking Jordan's camera falling down again. Um, because yeah, I think I'm like I they I'm from the standard mold. I didn't get the special like collector's edition. I'm standard ENTP, just a little maybe any heavy.
Mhm. Oh,
Is the typing video still rolling?
Oh, I hope not. Is it?
That had to be real trippy if any of you are watching my cam. My makeshift like tablet setup fell backwards like twice during that
Oh yeah, it is recording. Thanks for
video.
watching
Okay.
Talk with Famous People. We're the most professional of all YouTube channels.